Hi guys, today is 1.4e and we're going to talk about the unit circle today. This is going to be a super important thing. There's going to be a lot of numbers on there and you're not actually going to memorize each of the numbers necessarily. Okay, you are going to memorize two triangles. So before we begin, let's start with our 45, 45, 90 triangle. Okay, this should look about the same. And remember, hypotenuse or radius is 1 now, and then we'll have this as root 2 over 2 and root 2 over 2. Okay? And then we're going to have a 30, 60, 90 triangle. Please make at least one of the sides smaller. So this will be 1, and this should be 1/2. And the last one, because it's 3 different sides, is a root 3 over 2. You can also turn this and see the other side. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to fill this in little by little, but I like to fill this in using the angle families. So, I'm going to start with 45, 45, 90. Now, let's start with 0 degrees. If we have 0 degrees here, we know this is a 90 degrees, this is 180, and down here is 270. So far, so good? Okay, sorry about that. I wish I could zoom out a little, but I can't, so I'll be sure to move this up and down a little for you. Next, let's tackle all the multiples of 45. Okay, so can you guys imagine that, like, look, if I draw my triangle here, that means all of the points in the middle of these 3 lines are multiples of 45. Okay, so this one is 45 degrees. Plus 45 is 90, 90 plus 45 is 135, plus 45 is 180, plus 45 is 225, plus 45 is 270, and 270 plus 45 is 315 degrees. And now I can write in, oh, I forgot ordered pairs. That's the next thing we're going to add in. Ready? So this one will be, according to our angle families, root 2 over 2, root 2 over 2. I'll go back and add them, the ordered pairs in for 0, 90, 180 later. So then over here, it's going to be 1 negative, 1 positive. So it'll be negative root 2 over 2, positive root 2 over 2. Keep going. Down here will be negative, negative in this quadrant always. And this quadrant is going to be positive x, negative y. Right? So just like yesterday, our x's and y values are still the same because it's just this same triangle. Look, if you flip it over, do you guys see how it's still the same triangle, right? So x and y are the same values. Let's go back for these real quick. Radius is 1, so this will be 1, 0, negative 1, 0. This will be 0, 1, and down here for 270 will be 0, negative 1. Okay, so now let's add in these other ones. So now I need you to ignore the other lines. And do you guys see that this is 30 degrees? So now, and I'm doing this in a different color for a reason, I'm going to actually go in and fill in all the rest of them. I'm going to do 30 and 60 together. So the rest of these points that now I'm writing in blue are going to be 30, 60, 90 triangles, which will use this basic 3 lengths. You guys ready? So this is 30 degrees, and I'm going to skip 45 completely. So I'm going to go 30, 30, 30, and I'm going to keep adding 30 degrees. Okay. Please don't forget the 4 quadrants. Those count. So add 30, add 30, add 30 to get to 90. Add 30 is 120 degrees. Add 30 is 150 degrees. Add 30 is 180. And then we'll keep going. Add 30, so 18 plus 3 is 210 with an extra 0. 21 plus 3 is 24 with an extra 0. 24 plus 3, quick check, we made it and it's correct. 27 plus 3 is 30 with an extra 0. And 30 plus 3 is 33 with an extra 0. And we can check that when we come back, 360 is correct. So now let's fill these in. The long leg of your 30, 60, 90 triangle is root 3 over 2. So in the x direction, I'm going to go root 3 over 2, and my y value, that short side, is 1/2. Well, if you guys imagine 60 now, you guys see how it's the same triangle, but now I'm going x as the short side. So now I have 1/2 and up root 3 over 2. Okay. When I flip to this side, then I have negative 1/2. And then I'm going up the long side, which is root 3 over 2. This is now long side in the x direction, so it'll be negative root 3 over 2. And I'm going up the short length, which is 1/2. Think you guys could fill out the rest of this yourself? Right, so you have to imagine the triangles, and when you draw these angles, you want to make sure they're in the right place as well, right? So 210 is less than 225. So this will be negative long, short. So negative long side is root 3 over 2, negative, down, negative 1/2. Over here, negative 1/2, negative root 3 over 2. So notice, like in these two, the x and y values are flipped, but the signs are the same because they're in the same quadrant. This will be positive 1/2, negative root 3 over 2. And this one will be positive root 3 over 2, negative 1/2 down. You guys good so far? Okay, so it actually says here, to draw a triangle. I don't think we need to draw a triangle anymore, right? So just find the trig value. So we are going to start moving away from drawing triangles for any of our special right angles anymore. Because sine of 33, sine is y. Okay, let's write that again just in case. Sine is y, cosine is x. It's backwards of what you think. So sine of 330, let's find 330. That's my y value, negative 1/2. Done. Okay. Cosecant, that is 1 over sine, which is the same as 1 over y of 225. So I'm going to go find 225. Oh, x and y are the same, so it's going to be reciprocal of this. Okay, so I don't actually want to write it as 1 over negative root 2 over 2. I'm just going to take negative root 2 over 2 with a negative, and I'm going to flip it, because 1 over y is the same as a reciprocal. So it's going to be 2 over negative root 2. I've talked about with my class a lot that you don't want the negative in the denominator, so I'm going to move it to the top to start. And then this radical is going to bump up, root 2, and then I will lose the radical. Well, these two cancel out, so it'll be negative root 2. Okay, but I don't have to draw the picture again because I have this unit circle. You guys ready? Let's keep going. Now what we're going to be doing is substituting values for these using your unit circle and angle family notes. Okay. You have to show every single substitution or every single step. Please show all your work. So I know sine is y, cosine is x. Okay. 225, like in my head, you can look here and check it, or I know that it's going to be over here. Okay, 225. Because it's between 180 and 270, and it ends in a 5. So that's how I know it's a 45. So y is negative root 2 over 2. Cosine is over here of 60. That's up here, right? And that's x. So I can see right away that's plus 1/2. Okay, so let's keep going. Sorry, I didn't label this one. This was 60. Okay, so we can combine these because the denominators are the same. And when we combine things, we always want to write the whole number in front and the radical after. So please don't tell me it's negative 1 plus root 2. It's going to be positive 1 and negative root 2 all over 2. Okay. Sorry, on the last page, I crossed these directions out. I think we do actually, on the test or quiz, it will say draw a triangle. So I do want to see that 330 is here, right? So that, I apologize, almost to 360. And I want to see y here, 1/2. Okay, so here cosecant 225, and then I want to see that y is root 2, negative root 2 over 2. Okay, so that's why I drew it here, so that I don't actually have to look at the unit circle, because maybe like we don't have the paper next to us. Okay, let's take a look here. Cosine of 330 and sine of negative 30. So I'm going to draw 330. That's over here. Okay. And cosine is x and sine is y. So cosine will be negative 1/2. Sine of negative 30. Oh, that's actually the same, right? So 330 is all the way around. But negative 30 is coterminal. So now I want my, cosine is x. That's this one, root 3 over 2. And sine is y, which is negative 1/2. So this is my x, which is, cosine. And this is my y, which is sine. Okay, extra label to help us keep track of things. Squared. When we have cosine squared, instead of writing cosine theta squared, we shortcut without writing the parentheses. Now, there's a reason why we don't do cosine theta squared. That means the theta gets squared, which we don't want. Okay, so we want the whole thing squared. But instead of writing parentheses every time, we just shortcut and we put the squared in the middle, so that I don't have to type out parentheses and it gets messy. So right here, x of 330 is this one, and I'm going to have it squared. So it's going to be root 3 over 2 squared plus sine of negative 30 is y, so that'll be negative 1/2 squared. Now be really careful. Please don't just cancel out these root 3's and squareds, because the 2 on the bottom also gets squared. So let me just write that out for you. Ready? This is the same as root 3 squared over 2 squared plus negative 1 squared over 2 squared. So you have to distribute your squared to everything. Okay, sorry, this is my steps here, just to break it up a little. So these two, the radical symbol and the square, do cancel out. So it'll be 3 over 4 plus 1 squared, negative 1 times negative 1 is 1, and 2 squared is 4. So our final answer is, oh, not 4, sorry, 4 over 4, which is equal to 1. Please show all of your steps one by one. Okay, whatever you did in your head, show me what you did, because I can't read your mind. Okay, so secant, sine. Sine is y, cosine is x, sine is y. Cosecant is 1 over y then. And secant is 1 over x, right? Because cosecant and y are related, 1s, 1c. These are s and s, so they can't be the same. Okay, so I need to draw a few of these out. Let's do it. I need 45. Right, so that's root 2 over 2 and root 2 over 2. So that's nice. So let's see. We can replace sine of 45 with root 2 over 2. If there's nothing in between these two, it's really saying we are multiplying those two, right? So we have secant of 45 degrees times sine of 45 minus cosecant of 210 times sine of 180. Secant is 1 over, right? So it's the inverse, reciprocal, sorry, I keep saying inverse. The reciprocal of my x values, which is this one. So that'll be, maybe I can do that on the side because I don't actually want to do this and show my steps. So this will be 2 over root 2. They're both positives, so I'll multiply by root 2 and root 2. That'll be 2 root 2 over 2. So this will just be root 2. Okay. Now I want to minus, and then I'm going to have two things here. Maybe I'll do this. It'll be more obvious. Okay. So cosecant of 210. Let's see. 210 is 30 degrees past 180. Now be careful. Don't make it a 45 where you draw it in the middle. I want a nice, long, skinny triangle. Y is negative 1/2. And the reciprocal of that y value is what we want. So this will be negative 2 over 1 if you must. Okay. Sine of 180. Oh, well, 180 is over here. So that point is negative 1 comma 0. Sine is my y, so it's going to be times 0. Root 2, this is really over 1. Right? So this is root 2 times root 2, which is root 4, and that's 2 over 2. Minus, and I'm going to actually multiply those first. 2 times 0 is 0. So really it's 1 minus 0, which is just 1. Okay. Last one. Tangent 30 and cotangent 30. Try it yourself. Okay? See if you can sketch this, and I'll put my answer up in just a second. Okay guys, I plugged in all my numbers. It's starting to get a little messy, but can you guys see for this scenario? Like I could simplify each of these by crossing out the 2's if I wanted to, right? And then just simplifying more. But do you guys see that 1/2 and 1/2 can cancel? Right? Anything on top that's exactly the same as anything on the bottom can cancel. And then I can cancel out root 3 over 2 there as well. So when things cancel, be really careful because it's not 0. They're not gone. It's saying that this is 1 and this is 1. So we have a final answer of 1. Okay, so I'm going to make a note. Canceling multiplication or dividing does not equal to 0. It equals to 1. 0 only happens when you add 3 and subtract 3. Okay, you have homework for tonight to practice. We'll keep practicing in class as well.